Welcome to another exciting tutorial. Today we are going to create sound design for our animations and videos. This is a really important and I think it's a pretty fun process because now we are bringing our visuals to life. Without any sound effects, it's just looking boring. We need sound and really hear what is happening in our visuals. So today we are going to create a sound design for the augmented reality edit. Here you can see I'm done with the visuals. I created everything in After Effects and exported it in a QuickTime ProRes 422 HQ format. And so I keep the quality, it's not dropping quality. We have that crispy, nice high resolution. And now we can work with that seamlessly in Premiere Pro. You can of course do exactly the same steps in After Effects, for example, and do your sound design there. I prefer to do my sound design in Premiere Pro. I think it's just a little bit easier because you have all the layers here, and from the UI, I like it better to do my sound design in Premiere Pro. First of all, of course, no matter what type of video you have to define the sound effects or the sound you want to hear. So let's have this video for example. Here I want to hear a lot of UI selection sounds, like they're actually coming from the Apple Vision Pro. So to be 100% accurate, you could actually go and search your sounds online. For example, here I could search for some Apple Vision Pro sound effects. For that, I'm usually using YouTube if I have some specific sounds, because the music library or the sound effect library I'm using is Artlist, which I really recommend because I've tried all of them pretty much, and Artlist just stands out to me. They have so much cool music and so many sound effects which actually are usable. But if I need specific sounds, I usually go just to YouTube and put in Apple Vision Pro sound effects, for example, which might be hard to find because the Apple Vision Pro kind of just released. But if you, I don't know, edited something for an iPhone or some different kind of visuals, you might want to look up the sounds in YouTube so you can 100% match the sounds. So YouTube is also a great way to find free sounds. So if you are looking for like whoosh effects, if you don't have any sound packs, if you don't have Artlist, if you don't have any other music or sound effect packs or platform, you can just go on YouTube and search for sound effects. So like whoosh effects, I'm going to use a lot of whooshes.
First, only guided virtual makeup try-on. Hard camera analysis, face shape,
Bro,
skin tone, and texture.
I don't know why I get these advertising. I don't know. I swear I haven't searched for online virtual makeup app. That's so weird sometimes. So that's a great whoosh. Also here you can just download 20 free cinematic whooshes. And they are super nice and they're for free. So that's definitely an option if you want to start creating sound design for free without paying for anything. Another thing you could look up, which I really like, is UI selection sound effects. This can also be pretty cool. So it makes sense if you are looking for a lot of sounds to create your own kind of free library. So you download all of them and then you have them in your folder and you can use them for all of your projects. But back to the Apple Vision Pro sound effect. I'm excited how this sounds. Yes. I think that's pretty cool to have these sounds. So I'm using actually Clip Grab here. And with that application, you can download videos. You can only download the sound effects. So you pretty much just paste it in here. It's for free. And then here for format, I'm going to pick I'm going to pick actually a video because I think it's helpful to see the sound is actually made for. So here it's going to be the ringer changed, for example. And yeah, you can set up the quality to whatever you want to download and then grab this clip. Of course, direct to the right folder. So here I'm going to create a folder for sound effects and I'm going to download them. So now I think this is pretty good to have. Of course, we need additional sounds. And as I mentioned, I'm using Artlist. Here you have the option to search for sound effects, something like whooshes as well. I actually created a sound library for myself. So I'm just always throwing my folders in, but I'm recommend to you to create your own sounds and of course look up your video first and see what sounds you might need. So here I want a whoosh and a kind of a pop-up. So the UI, the Apple Vision Pro just started. Here I want a whoosh to bring that tabs in. Next up I'm going to select the clips. So I need some UI selecting sound and then drop it in. So I want some whoosh drop and maybe some approval. So I dropped it into the comp. Here we can add another whoosh or a sound effect which fits for scaling up the timeline. Next up, I'm selecting again and dropping the clip. Now I'm double tapping on it and it opens up another window, which can also be supported by whoosh sounds, swishes. Here I'm changing the speed graph. Now I'm tapping on it again. So you see, it's a lot of whooshes, selecting sounds, and maybe UI sounds from Apple Vision Pro. So this is basically what I need here. And I need another scroll sound because I'm scrolling through Artlist and then drop it again. And here we have that loop. So first step is watching your visuals and imagine what you want to hear. So we have done that. I've got some sounds, I've prepared everything. So your next step would be to first define what sound effects you need. After that, you're going to YouTube or to your platform like Artlist or into your sound packs you might have downloaded. And yeah, pick the right sounds and throw them here into your folder. So let's also get that Apple Vision Pro sound in here. Go to my folder, sound effects, Apple Vision Pro sounds, boom. Nice. So I've actually prepared some UI sounds, something like that. You can also check the names here and search for them online if you like them. And this workflow applies to all kind of videos, no matter if you do that futuristic augmented reality videos, if you create sound design for that, or if you create sound design for, let's say, a car edit, it's going to be exactly the same. So you're creating the visuals. And next step is analyzing your visuals and imagine what sounds you want to hear for the transitions. Maybe you go through a logo and you maybe want to hear some debris. So you want to go through some metal. Or if you have speed ramps, you want to hear that whooshes going with the speed ramps. So you want to support your footage. Or if you have a car and you want to support it, like you want to tell the story, it's a sport car, it's fast. Maybe it makes sense to add some sport cars engine sound, or if you make that logo fly up, whoosh sound. If you want to make that logo fly like it has wings, like the flying Bentley logo. Of course, it could make sense to add some eagle sound or some other whoosh effect to support that. So it's always going to be the same workflow. I'm just showing you the workflow for my example I have right here, since I'm doing a lot of augmented reality edits. And I think it's pretty exciting and pretty cool to see how we can bring this edit particular to life. So we got all the sounds ready here. This is, for example, I got like a menu scrolling sound, which can be really helpful. And of course, some of these we cannot use right away. So we might need to change the speed, which can also make a lot of sense. So we really now want to match the movement, what the visual is actually showing. So some might need to speed up, some might we need to slow down. We can also pitch the sound effects to make them lower pitch or higher pitch. So let's jump right in and start with maybe some Apple Vision Pro sounds. So this, I don't know, this for me sounds like we are just setting up the Apple Vision Pro, so maybe at the beginning. Yeah, that could be cool, like something like that. Nice. So this is the shutdown. Let's maybe add this one at the end. So if you have a video here, you can just drag the audio by just holding down on that icon here. It says drag audio only because we don't need the video. You can just drag it in here. And now we can place it maybe at the end. Yes, something like that. Maybe it's too much to turn off the Apple Vision Pro. We're going to leave it for now because it makes sense. Yes, that's a cool selection. It's nice. Let's see where we could place that. Here. Yes, that's cool to like make it pop out. Let's go on. That's too technical. I don't like that sound. That's cool. I like that. So let's see. Yeah, maybe something for like a selection sound. Yeah, that's cool. That's also pretty cool. So if you maybe drop the footage, that could work. Here. That's pretty cool. But also we need some sounds at the beginning. Oh yeah, maybe we'll use them here at the beginning. So we kind of... Okay, nice. Yeah, that could be a drop of a footage. Yes, so if we're dropping the footage here, something like that. It doesn't have to be 100% the sound where we want to place it at the final video. I'm now just playing around. I'm trying to find key moments. So the key moments I was mentioning earlier, like dropping, dragging, swiping, selecting. I want to like mark these with some existing sounds, and then we are going to play the video over and over again. Then we kind of can decide if the sound fits the motion, the visual, or we need to find something else. So that also be... Maybe this one's better for the end. Because at the end we have now this one. Well, that's original sound, so... Let's see, maybe a little bit earlier. And let's use this one here. It just feels off. So let's not go with that, because I don't know. I don't feel that sound here at the end. So we have some sounds of the Apple Vision Pro at the beginning. I think it's totally fine to have some kind of UI integrated in that sound here. Well, we can actually use these effects again. Okay, let's also use this one when we drop the footage here, like boom. I think that's pretty cool. That's going to be our dropping sound. So here. Okay, so since we decided this one is going to be the sound if we drop something, so let's find another key moments where we drop something into our timeline, for example, and let's use the same sound. So it's going to be the same sound over the whole video for the same actions. So here is different. We're tapping here again. So since we have here, we have that selection sound. Oh yeah, this could be like the selection sound. Yes, here, if we like choose that app. And now here we drag again something in the timeline. Nice, something like that. Let's try to match the motion as best as possible. Like really try to hit that exact point. Here in that case for sound design, sometimes I turn off the snap in timeline magnet here because it's going to be easier to place the effects at the right position. So here I'm selecting again. Let's use this one. All right, this is actually pretty good. So this is the UI sounds I used from the Apple Vision Pro I downloaded. So let's move on and fill the sounds we are missing with some UI sounds I prepared. So we have a scrolling sound here. So this could be a good fit for the scrolling here, where I'm choosing the Atlas sound. Oh, also for the graph here, maybe just two of them, where I start here. So let's start here and it goes till here. So something like that, maybe. Yes, let's maybe we need to slow it down to, let's say, 50. Yeah, that's cool. Nice. Let's see if we keep that, but for now it sounds cool. Here's the scroll sound. But no, I don't think that fits for in this case. So let's make sure we have the Apple Vision Pro, if possible, all here at the first layer. Okay, here it's not going to work, but let's work with color and labels. So you can see here that Apple Vision Pro is all in that bluish color. And the sounds I'm adding now, they are all the extra UI sounds. I am going to label them in that green. What do you call it? What's that label called? It's Caribbean. It's not green, it's Caribbean, guys. So I'm going to, label them with the Caribbean. So by using labels, if it gets more and more complex, we can make sure we can find our sounds easier and faster if we are looking to change something for the Apple Vision Pro sounds, for example, or the one we added from our own sound pack. Yes, so here we have some UI sounds, some futuristic stuff. I think we can use these. This one's pretty cool. Let's see if it fits anywhere. Does that make sense here? Nah, that's not. Nope. 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 I like that one. Maybe we can add this one here instead of the selection sound. Nope. So yeah, it's always like a try and error. Just have to find the right spot, the right sound effect, and just tell by your feeling if it's a fit or not. Maybe here. The ending sounds actually pretty cool. So we can also fade in the sounds in and out. So you create a keyframe by pressing Command and just clicking. And then now we're dragging here that keyframe down. So it's going to start from 0, going up to the normal volume. So that could work. Don't worry, we are going to edit the volume of each sound effect later because we need to level them so the sound effects are not too loud, because we still also need to find the right song for that edit, but this is going to be later. So this one could actually be like bring up all of these windows. Yeah, I think that's cool. Let's keep that one for now. Nope. So these are clicks. I think clicks are also pretty cool if you have like any animations, but not in this case since we are touching. This one is pretty cool. Let's have this one. So here when I select it, I think this could be our second selecting sound. Yeah, here we need that one again. Let's use this selection sound also at the end. So you can hold Option and drag the clip over so you create a copy. This can be really helpful. And yeah, nice. Let's make our audio tab a little bit bigger. Here we don't need the effects tab at the side, so let's make this one actually a little bit bigger. Yes. So we can delete this sound. I think that's cooler. Yeah, that's way cooler. Nice. So let's move on and see what else sounds we have. So now I'm just pretty much going through my sounds and see what could fit. Yeah, I think this is cool for like zooming out. I think here we also need that selection sound. Otherwise it's going to too mixed up. Maybe this one goes for the music. Yeah, let's use this one. Not for the scroll, like for the zoom in, but for the selection of the audio. I think this is nice. So we're selecting that audio here. Here. I think that's pretty cool. So I actually could use maybe that song which I actually picked here in that screen recording which I used. So let's bring this one quickly in. I think that's that song. Yes. So I actually use this one. Okay, no, we're not going to use this one. This is nice, but yeah, I think we're going to look for some good trendy music to fit our edit. I think that's going to work better. I'm going to show you this in a second. Let's move on with the UI sound. I think we're almost through all the clips. Yes. Nope. Yes. The first steps are really important to find the right sound effects. So watching your videos a couple of times and then going through YouTube, through Artlist or your sound pack, and yeah, make sure you have a big selection of sounds where you can just scroll through. And of course, if I have ideas when I think, okay, could be a sound effect, I really need this effect here, of course I'm going to Artlist and download it. But if you do this before, you can easier enter that flow state where just throwing clips in and throwing audio in. So cool. I think for now we are good with UI sounds, like the selections, and we have all that key stuff going on. I think we're now going to add some whooshes.